Just as the sun sets on a cold day today, it sets on a very warm year. Check this out. So let's talk about 2017 first. First month, we went to Montauk. We went an hour and a half all the way to Montauk to climb some cliffs before sunset. The sunset, and it was beautiful as heck, man. Beautiful sunset from Montauk, the farthest east you can go on Long Island. A couple weeks later, we went to Artist Lake. Dude, I did not think what was gonna happen was gonna happen. I caught a 5-pound bass in the middle of winter throwing a lipless crankbait. Crazy. In March, we went to Artist Lake, me and Jared. Jared caught his biggest carp and his biggest bass, basically back to back. Did not expect that. It was a rainy, cold day, fishing from the shore, and he caught big fish. It was a crazy start to 2017, and 2017 was just gonna get crazier. April was insane too. So the first part of that, I went out to Forge Pond and I actually went under a railroad, set up my hammock, and I caught a largemouth bass sitting in a hammock. Never done before. It was pretty cool. It was a fun experience. Part of April, I almost died bass fishing in a kayak. The same spot, I snagged into a fish that was actually hooked onto another lure, so I got onto that line and it pulled me over to the overspill, where if I went down into the kayak, I probably would have gotten hypothermia or seriously injured from the fall, because it was straight onto concrete. The next part of April was kind of insane. So I went to a place I've never been before, and I don't know, I was always into snakes and all that stuff. So we're looking and we're searching for ponds and we're just walking through some high grass, and all of a sudden I see 2 snakes and they're just basking in the sun. So I go over to it and I pick it up and the freaking thing bites me and I start bleeding. So that was a crazy video from April. Snake bites while bass fishing. Crazy. In May was pretty cool. Richie came home on leave, so we went to a bunch of places he wanted to fish, and we actually caught some some big bass at Lake R. Big bass. Constantly seeing big fish out of that place. It was a really cool way to start off the spring. Just big fish. In June was kind of crazy. It was leading up to the July ICAST in Orlando, and I was going to that. So I take my buddies fishing, 2 kids that are basically my best friends. Took them fishing, and I got one of them onto his biggest fish ever. Crazy, never released that footage, it's coming out soon. But he caught a 5-pound largemouth bass on a frog. No better way to catch a big fish than on a frog. So that was a pretty cool way to start off June, and leading into ICAST.
Got him.
July was insane. First, I went to ICAST, met a bunch of new friends. I consider everyone my best friends now. It's kind of crazy. Saw some old friends from last year. It's always good to see fellow YouTubers and other guys that love fishing and have the same passion as you. So July was a good starter and a refresher for me halfway through the year. Next part of July, we actually went fishing for sharks, and I caught a bunch of big, huge 5-foot sharks on bass fishing gear. It was cool. It was insane. No way. That's insane. You're ready to release it.
Thank you, buddy.
And Richie actually, I believe Richie came home again in July, and we went to Captree, and we were searching for big fish, fluke, sea bass, stripers, whatever, but we managed to catch a bunch of little snappers, which was just as fun because we woke up really early. A bunch of things happened in August. Started school again, but before that, I caught my first big, huge bluefish. It wasn't massive, like ginormous, but it was a good 8-pound bluefish. First one I ever caught on a bunker. August was also the time of the solar eclipse. Never actually thought that I would see a solar eclipse because never really thought it was going to happen where I lived. But we saw a solar eclipse, and I was lucky enough to be bass fishing while it happened. So to see a solar eclipse and to be bass fishing was pretty neat. Also in August, I got attacked by a bird while bass fishing. That never happened before, but I took my buddy John out fishing and we got attacked by a bird, so that's kind of unique, I guess. that brings us to the end of the summer and the end of long days. See, it's 4:30. It's not even 4:30. It's 4 o'clock. The sun's going down already, so the sun will be down by 4:30. But September was pretty cool. We went upstate and caught my biggest brown trout ever. Fishing the river. It was so fun. We caught a bunch of little browns, little brooks, but I caught my biggest brown trout. It was a 3-pounder. If I can get a mount of a brown trout, I would. It was so cool.
Don't be afraid, won't let you fall, girl. Don't be afraid, won't let you fall, girl.
Then, November, I caught my first jerkbait bass. Never expected that, but we went out on a cold day in our kayaks. And I was casting out with the jerkbait, and all of a sudden, boom! I caught a fish. It was cool. It was a fun experience, but it was freezing, just like it is now. It's ice cold, but boy, was it fun. It's December now, day after Christmas, finishing up this video. It's gonna be good. A ton more things happened in 2017, but it's way too much to include into a video. Those were the highlights. 2018 is gonna start off the same way as 2017 with a giant big adventure the very first day. And we're gonna make a series out of it called Living on the Edge. It's gonna be so cool. But I wish you all a great new year. And I hope 2017 was as good of a year for you guys as it was for me. So, as always guys, stay real, smooch and release, have some fun on the water. Peace.
Get down.